Yeah, OP, gold per minute, over 800. I would say in general, anything above 700 is good, so having 800 is amazing. But with that being said, we're going back into the game, and hopefully everything will go as planned.
Yeah, but it turns out here OP is actually the jungle, so that's a huge stat to
Yeah.
have, right? I mean, you have that high amount of GPM on that jungle position. This also is a huge signal to the fact that he is very reliable in terms of, scaling and jungling, I suppose. But now you can see here
Oh no!
already so much happening on the board as JPL was able to take that away, but it was actually stolen back by OP.
Oh, that was so close as well. It was the final take. JP almost stole it away, but the Stinger's timing coming from OP, understanding that he does not have enough damage to clear it. So that was great precision timing coming from OP to actually come on top. So it's not the end of the world, but EVOS SG, they have to play their experience in terms of laning. And as of yet, the Franco thing did not work out against Impunity as of now.
Legit, I thought he used his retribution, but he actually didn't.
Almost looked like, right?
Yeah, I thought he was definitely going to use it, but it's a good thing he did it because right now, EVOS SG, they're starting up the turtle, and just because he has the retribution, they can fight it. However, it looks like initiation coming in from the side of OP, but a little bit too late.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was a little bit too late to that party there. They did try and force that Dawning Light, but unfortunately, nothing's too fancy just yet from both teams. But what I wanted to highlight was usually when we see a two assassin type of heroes being placed in the drafting, we always assume that they need to take it into that early game. But when I think about it, they still have Senpai on the Xavier, they still have Phoveus on Boom. So do they also scale as well as EVO Singapore into the late game? And if that is the case, how and what are the winning conditions for EVO Singapore?
That's the thing about EVO Singapore's composition, right? They've got three very, very tanky compositions, which Impunity KH can't exactly do too much. If they were to pick a carry instead of Clint, it's something that's very, very doable against this tanky, beefy composition. But when they final picked the Barats, their intent was not because they want to force fights. It's to run over Impunity KH and soak up all the damage they deal with them and get away with it. And that's the thing about Impunity's composition, right? If they don't get any early pickoffs or any kind of punishes from early get-go, eventually EVOS SG is going to hit their timings where they're too tanky and Impunity just doesn't have enough damage to chunk them off.
Oh, look at that. First blood is going over the side of EVOS SG. A very good hook from the side of JPL. And I'm just going to get onto that question as well. I feel like the way that EVOS SG will win against Impunity KH is to actually outlast the team fight, because in the longer stage of the team fight, because again, Impunity KH, they do have two assassins. They want to end the match as quickly as possible. They want to end every team fight as bursty as possible. So as long as they can avoid all of these just huge amount of damage in a short amount of time and give a lot of space to Sayla as well as Adamir, eventually they will win the team fight.
Exactly.
They just have a lot more DPS.
Exactly. You can see that the confidence coming from EVOs, right? They're just invading jungles time and time again against Impunity KH, knowing that they cannot do anything about it. Considering that the only tanky hero that can soak up some damage as well as face check is pretty much the Phoveus. Selena can't exactly do it. They're looking for setups of mistakes coming from EVOS SG, but knowing EVOs, they've got so many years of experience fighting against Selena from so many seasons. So I feel like it's not that much of a threat for them. All they gotta do is just play safe, drag it out, and eventually Impunity will not have enough damage to do so. And on top of it all, they've got a JPL Franco as a safety net to start off fights.
It's interesting, right? Because when we think about it, it has to be Impunity going in for these neutral objectives. But the way that EVO Singapore is playing, like you mentioned earlier, they're denying all this. What initially we thought would be really huge map pressure, as well as map vision, has actually been taken away. I mean, the way that JPL is going in all these bushes, just soaking up that damage from the traps, is denying that potential away from Impunity.
Yeah, I guess we do have to touch on Gear on this Barats as well. His pathing is so good. Like, he's not wasting any time taking unnecessary farm, because the way that he's moving around the map is honestly great, especially because as a Barat, you kind of don't have to worry about face checking any bush. Even though, yeah, there's two assassins, but they kind of have to engage from afar.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And look at this, EVOs. They're not afraid. They know that Gear is just so strong and they don't exactly have a lot of damage, especially when he has those stacks. Look at him. He's just running him over. He's very, very confident. He's forcing Impunity in a spot where they cannot contest the 1-1. And because of that, Endermere is just left unchecked and Deja was forced to make a decision. It seems like he is going to try and farm his way through and try and threaten Adamir a little bit more, while EVOs just continue to oppress them now. Boom. Forcing a big battle spell as well, and that is going to be the Purify taken out for the next equation. And Gear, is going to be able to get the Daytona's welcome very, very soon, but it's all about those timings, and EVOS playing it safe for now. JPL looking for the hook. Seems like he's not going to get it as the traps will reveal his position.
I mean, they are playing it so methodical right now from the side of EVO Singapore, right? They're baiting away all these important spells, these important skills. They're trying to deny the rotations, especially for OP, and that is going to be a huge factor, especially understanding that there are still only 20 seconds left on the board for that next turtle to spawn, and already 2 resources have been wasted in that side.
See, this is exactly what I mean, right? Every single time an arrow EVOS SG will know where it's coming, and they are very aware about it, because as soon as the arrow hits, yeah, we gotta just sidestep it. Even if it hits, what can they do? And it's gonna be a very, very difficult situation, but on the top side, we do see a force fight as well. Sayla, not sure what he was thinking all by himself. He tried to go in for the burst, and Impunity was waiting in the bush, and that's gonna be Sayla literally taken out, and this is a big chance for Impunity. Meanwhile, EVOS looks like they are gonna try and force the retribution fight as well, and it seems like Gear is going to come on top. JPL with the hook. Not going to be transitioning for anything yet, as EVOS lost their burst potential, which is going to be Sayla.
Luckily enough, even though they did make a huge mistake in that top side, they were still able to get that objective on the board, because initially with those type of pickoffs, you'd want Impunity KH to be able to have like an upper edge in that neutral objective, but unfortunately that not be the case as a concealed play goes through.
OP getting hooked blind as well. JPL, what an absolute monster when it comes to game sense, but here comes the Daytona's welcome. It's not over yet. Gear trying to set up with a chain stun as well, but it seems like it's not going to be happening as well, but looks like Boom is starting to pop off. Adamir baited him out, forced him to use the ultimate, and as soon as that happens, he was out of position, and they all 4 swarm on towards Boom, coming from EVOS SG.
2 members taken down here from the side of Impunity, and once again, EVO Singapore, he comes out on top, now sitting with a 2,000 gold lead, and they're not stopping there. Look at Adamir really just munching away on that turret in the bottom side, as Adamir just so easily steps out of that dawning light.
Oh, JPL, what a cheeky angle to go in for the hook. Seems like it's not going to happen, but Impunity KH, they're just struggling to find this composition, and look at this, Sayla, he gets a very nice burst onto his Boom, and that's going to be the tankiest hero coming from Impunity, and they're going to lose the equation. Downers Ball comes in, Sayla isolates the fight. They will lose JPL from that over-aggression, but it's not the end of the war, because Gear is coming in. He wants to force a fight, and can they get it out? And now, Senpai, Dawning Light, starting to build out a little bit more traction coming from Impunity KH, and that might be the so-called win condition that they need, which is to wait for Senpai to get his items before he pops off.
Right now, we gotta give props to EVOS SG, man, because the way that they're playing the map, the macro plays are amazing, because we wanted them to control the map with the draft coming from the side of Impunity KH. I mean, like, I can take this L. I thought that with this draft, they can really control the map, making it very, very difficult for the side of EVOS SG. But here, with this Barat, is really denying any kind of control from the side of Impunity. So, yeah, we gotta give props. The way that they're playing this map is levels ahead of what we saw previously.
That's why Youngin is such an amazing coach coming from EVOS SG. They understand their timing so well when it comes to drafts, and I feel like Selena kind of falls out in the later stage of the game. Now, with the Darkness Falls, looks like they are going to try and force the issue. Nick does have the Vengeance as well as the Ultimate as well. Look at him, he's soaking so much damage, but the rest of EVOS, they're going to be focusing on the fight. Hellcurt gets like a little bit of a trade-off on the side, but it's not going to matter, because the rest of EVOS are just chipping away at his teammates, and the rest of Impunity KH, they just completely shut off and run over. And look at this, despite the scuffle, EVOS is just so tanky in all these skirmishes.
4 members taken down just like that, and I thought it was a little bit of a mistake from the side of EVO Singapore. JPL used his Iron Hook as well as that flicker a little too early, but it turns out they don't need it. The moment that Adamir was able to get that crossbow of Tang, and they just initially were melted off the board. It does seem like Impunity had a little bit of something in that top side. They were able to get a turret in that top, but we'll see as EVO Singapore once again melting it down, and the instant replay here by TikTok. Lefel, take it away.
Yeah, right now looking at this instant replay, we have to look at the position coming in from the side of EVOS SG, because the way that they're doing is they're actually giving a lot of space for Adamir to get his stacks, because they're really positioning in a way that they're creating a lot of space between all of the melee frontliners. And this is why 1-1 is usually banned. It's not fun to play against, because you think you're dishing out damage, and you are, but you're giving a lot of opportunities for her to get her crossbow tang.
Yep, I definitely agree. But with the Lord coming in onto the top side as well, the inhibitor will be threatened as of yet. Impunity, they are going to try and play it a little bit safe, but what can they do? What's the timing that they need? And currently, Senpai is only level 10. It's going to be very, very difficult before this Savior comes online. And EVOS actually, they've just got so much room to work with just like that. And I feel like in this kind of scenarios, Impunity is... they have to find a way to shut down Adamir. And once he's taken out of Vision, they have to figure out on making a way for Deja to chunk out on all this beefy composition coming from EVOS SG.
To be honest, the way that they're playing this, maybe they need to look for a little bit more angles in the sense that OP needs to come in from the backside. Maybe go in for a little bit similar play like R7 does, or what we saw earlier in that previous game. Because if they go for just front to back, it's not possible because of Gear being able to just chunk in so much damage, and JPL always there to be able to do the Bloody Hunt as well. So they need to think about the positioning in terms for Impunity KH.
I want to talk about the nature of an assassin, right? Once an assassin starts to fall off, but oh look, they're initiating onto the Franco, managing to get a kill. I was about to say, I was worried that they do not have enough damage, but I guess if 5 people focus on 1 person, it is going to be enough.
Yep, it definitely is as well. It took them 5 to take down 1, but guess what? They are going to lose an inhibitor to the minions up top. So great lane controls coming from EVOS SG. But once again, this is going to be a very, very difficult task because right now, let's take a look at the itemizations coming from EVOS SG. We've got Athena's as well as Curse Helmet up available on the tanks from EVOS SG. This is going to hurt considering that the amount of magic that Impunity KH has.
Yeah, again, even in the KH right now, they still have opportunities to win because, like you said, the amount of damage coming in from Senpai is going to be a little bit difficult for them to handle. But the way that EVOS SG has been playing, it doesn't look like they're giving a lot of space for Senpai. So I feel like they're still in a very good spot. Once they have a Lord, they can brute force their way in just by having that Barat. So I'm looking at a maximum of 3 more Lords for EVOS SG to potentially close this out.
Yeah, maybe. It's just maybe as well. But as of yet, objective-wise, they're doing fantastically well. And even if the Darkness Falls comes in, they're going to be able to tank it all. As long as Sayla doesn't get caught out, Adamir doesn't get caught out, they're going to be good. So it's going to be a lot of emphasis for OP to try and make this kind of plays for Impunity KH if they want to force a fight. But as of yet, the Lord is going to be down towards the final 2 bars. Impunity KH, OP, looking for the setup. He's only got 1 Stingers in the charge, but looks like he's going to pop the Darkness Fall, preemptive the Evos, completely let go of the Lord, and focus on the team fight as well. It seems like it's down towards the final percentage as well. Boom, with the Storm, it's going to get killed off with the Lord setup, and EVOS is going to get it as well. A big Dawning Light coming from Impunity KH will scare him off, but the Lord will be secure from EVOS SG.
2-for-0 trade for the side of EVOS SG, winning it out in that particular area. But what I would like to highlight from that team fight is that we mentioned one of the winning conditions is for OP to be able to get into that backline and, of course, take down either Sayla or Adamir. And that was exactly what he tried to do. He went all face first into Adamir, unknowingly that JPL was already waiting for him. And therefore, it was OP the one to get caught out. So EVOS Singapore, they understand the winning conditions of themselves as well as the winning conditions for Impunity, and just is so good at that macro read and just really was able to get on top of that.
This is the unfortunate reality of using an assassin. If you don't do well in the early stages of the game, you're not going to deal enough damage because look at the itemization for Helke over here. He has the Demon Hunter Sword as well as the Malefic Roar, but then he's focusing on defense, and with that, I don't think he can take down any carries from the side of EVOS SG.
I definitely agree. It's all up to Senpai to make the play. Darkness Falls comes in to try and preemptively defend against this. You can see Impunity, they're focusing on the Lord. They will focusing it down, but the inhibitors will fall. EVOS SG looking for the hook as well. JPL going for the hook. He gets it, and that is going to be the suppress coming in. Boom, gets taken now, but the damage coming from Senpai is starting to hurt a little bit more. They get the trade-off onto JPL, but Adamir is still alive, and he's still running around Roses against Impunity KH. Sayla takes a little bit of run off the Dawning Light, but the next inhibitor, the final one, will fall as Adamir continues to lane control the entirety of the map. But it seems like EVOS SG, they do not want to risk this fight at all, as they want to save out the immortalities, and Nick is going to back off this fight.
9,000 gold lead now for the side of EVOS Singapore, as once again they were able to make the most out of that siege. I mean, 3 turrets just taken down, inhibitor turrets, mind you, from the side of Impunity, and it's just insane to see. It's so difficult. How can they maneuver around this now from the side of Impunity?
Yeah, it's just very, very difficult to do so. But I feel like from Impunity, they just gotta stall it as long as they can. Now, you asked about a very, very interesting one as well. They have to stall for Senpai. Look at the damage now. He's got 51,000, and he's the core winning factor. And every single time EVOS SG, if they decide to clump away, and when the Darkness Falls comes in, and EVOS SG decides to say buddy up and say, hey, we group up together, and then we won't know what's going on. When that happens, that's the perfect moment to drop a big Dawning Light.
Here's the problem, right? Yes, Senpai can deal out the damage, but look at the heroes from the side of EVOS. Just having that Barats, having that Tamus, he will not have enough damage, or at least not in one combo, right? You have to have a prolonged fight. You will eventually knock them out, but I don't know. Impunity KH, not only are they waiting for items, but they have to wait for a good position to actually take the team fight.
Oh, I was about to bring up the Divine Glaive as well, because Senpai now, he's got the Divine Glaive. This is where he hits the most, and look at this. Boom! That's going to be down one coming in from EVOS SG. Nick, he needs to make a run for it, and Impunity, they're trying to force the fight, but Adamir is going to try and scare him off. You look at the positions of Senpai right now. He's playing it extremely safe, and now Adamir will pop off, shut them all down. OP needs to make a run for it. He gets a 3-man silence, but Senpai doesn't seem to have the cooldowns to follow up, and that is going to be the retreat coming from EVOS SG. But as of yet, they are still hanging on, but EVOS will try to close out the game as they focus on the Lord.
2-0 trade, EVOS Singapore still in the lead, and now they have an enhanced Lord that I'm sure is not going to be contested, especially that OP was the one to be taken down as a result of the aggression coming in from EVOS Singapore. And I have to agree, sure, the Dawning Light does a lot of damage, but unfortunately, when you prolong the fight, the DPS coming in from that crossbow of Tang is just going to overrule that initial burst coming in from Impunity KH.
Oh, that's why it's just so much more precise. They gotta set it up. JPL going for a very, very cheeky concealed
That was very
play.
fast. I was like, yo, I've never seen someone this big walk that fast. Wobble, 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 wobble.
Yeah, that's a penguin reference, aren't you?
Yeah. I like penguins.
I get it. But at the same time as well, that was a pretty cheeky play coming from JPL. But hopefully it's going to be enough, because as of yet, the Lord is going to be coming down middle, and Impunity Cambodia is going to have a little bit of a struggle to defend against this. Adamir already going for the set as well. Darkness Falls comes in, but here comes Boom, getting caught out. He's going to get it for the set as well. Dawning Light comes in, but it's not enough damage. But Sayla from the backlines completely shuts down the backlines of Impunity, and they get completely wiped out. It's only up to Boom to hang on. He couldn't even do anything. Triple kill for Adamir, and the EVOS SG's ticket to MSC playoff still lives as they take the first game against Impunity KH.
Huge play coming in from Sayla. Big brain play. As soon as I saw them going in for that team fight, I was watching Sayla and what he was doing. As they were all quite busy, we could see the Selena really just focusing on that Lord. I just saw Sayla just walk around that, going to that top lane, and then he just went